Is it Nevada or Nevada?
Oh, good Lord. It is Nevada.
Yeah, we used to have a guy that I went to work with, and his name was Vito Nevada. So that's a nice part of the world when you get up into like the Bonanza territory up there.
It is. They used to film Bonanza out going towards Tahoe.
And your favorite movie?
The Godfather. Yes, Godfather 2.
We never had to go see The Godfather where I grew up. They were just down the corner, you know?
I've been told you don't grow old living life this way. Maybe so, but all I know is I'm living day to day. Once you find a love like mine, you know that love is true. Understand, I'm just a man with the pork fat baby back blues.
Gdayall, and welcome to episode 4, The School Lunchbox. Gdayall is our podcast that sort of meshes East Coast and West Coast US with our experiences in Australia. And the New Yorker representing the East Coast is Phil.
Hey, how you doing, Barbara?
I am very well this morning.
Yeah, well, you know, last week's episode with Mitch, our third episode, was really well received out there.
It was, except I think Mitch might say it's Meet Mitch.
Did I get that backwards again?
Oh my God.
Okay.
It was really good. Mitch was a lovely guy and had so many interesting things to say.
Yeah, I love the thing about the Yankee Stadium. That was the best.
That was awesome. And look, we have looked at, people are listening to us, not only in Australia, but in New York, Oregon, Kansas, Virginia, Michigan, and California. Well, I'm glad both of our states are represented. That would be a bit sad if it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, anyway, getting back to today's broadcast, the school lunchbox. Because you know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow's National Fluffernutter Day. What a sandwich to be made for a lunchbox.
That is the best one. Only the special kids got a fluffernutter. That would be marshmallow fluff with peanut butter of your choice has to be on white bread, I think. That's my vote.
Yeah, well, I like creamy peanut butter. I'm a creamy person. That's the only thing I don't have that's crunchy or burnt, you know, it's peanut butter. That has to be smooth.
I like smooth for baking, crunchy for eating. And the lady that invented it was named Emma Curtis. You cannot find anything else about her. So I think Kraft must have had a contest or something. So she came up with the fluffernutter.
And it's also known as the Liberty Sandwich.
That is correct. I wonder how that all came about.
Well, who's our guest today?
This is my friend Dolores. We met at the first day of first grade at the bike rack.
Wow. At least you didn't have a fight. That's how I met my best friend, Johnny.
No, there were no fights. But yes, so we have been friends for 40 plus years. So she has a lot to say. We shared many school lunches together and many school memories. And she's now a school teacher.
So she's giving it back.
She is. Now, what are your school memories? Because we would have completely different experiences. I'm from a small sort of country-ish town, and you're from New York.
Well, being from New York, we didn't have the luxury of a lot of different things. And in the elementary school, I used to, in the first and second grade, go from St. Anselm's in the Bronx to my grandmother's, crossing Avenue St. John, which is a major thoroughfare. Okay, and nobody ever thought anything of it back then.
Did you hear horns crossing? Did you just run straight across, or what did you do?
There was a lot of traffic, and the fire department was right there also.
Or maybe they would have looked after a nice little boy.
Oh, I don't think so.
What did your grandmother make for you when you went home for lunch?
Well, usually it was leftovers. So I had what they had the night before. And then I remember coming home and my grandmother said, telling my father, or my aunts would tell my father, Phil had, kidney beans with macaroni last night in olive oil. And my father used to just throw a fit because if he would make something like that or with chichi beans, I would never eat it. But when my grandmother made it, it would taste better.
My memories are, there used to be one little bit of grass and we sat on benches, and Chrissy Schleier and actually had a fluffernutter sandwich every day. and we would all line up because none of our parents would do that for us. It'd have to be like ham or peanut butter and jelly or bologna. And we would line up just saying, can I just trade? I'll give you my whole lunch to trade for a hat of Fluffernutter.
When I moved to Brooklyn and went to Regina Pontius, which is the mafia-controlled church, you can look that up on Google. Okay, we used to have, sometimes we went out and sometimes we had lunch in the cafeteria. And I remember trying to avoid, when you go down there, you never know what they were serving. But once you were online, you couldn't get off. The nuns were there controlling everything. And then the worst was hash. They gave us hash for whatever reason. Nobody ate it. Everybody was just brutalized after that. The nuns were slapping kids left, right, center. You gotta eat that. You can't go. Oh, and then you got to drink your milk. It was just a battlefield. But then as we got older, and we were able to go to our local pizzeria or Rico's, and he made the best, what we call square pizza or Sicilian pizza in all of Brooklyn. And that was just a feast.
We rallied for years, and just before we finished school, so we must have been in 7th or 8th grade, we managed to get a hot lunch once a month, and one was Taco Bell, I think it was a bean burrito, and one was a hamburger from McDonald's.
We never had either one of those franchises in New York at that time. But the other thing I just thought of, besides having pizza, I also had one spurt there where I just went down one block and it was a local luncheonette, and I ended up eating just about every day cream of mushroom soup. Don't ask me why, but I just ate every day cream of mushroom soup. Strange, but true.
Oh, I do like cream of mushroom soup, but I wouldn't have thought it as a school kid. I might have.
So, Bob, now's the time for us to introduce our guest of the week, Dolores from the Silver State.
Hi, Dolores.
Hi.
Thank you for chatting with us today. We're going to be talking with Phil, who...
Hey, Dolores, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm here.
About the mood, yes.
Yes.
He's a fellow Catholic school graduate, so he gets the nun stories.
Okay.
So today we're talking about school lunches and school lunch boxes, and since I think we spent every day from 1st grade to 8th grade having lunch together when I wasn't sick, we will talk about what did you have in your lunchbox, Dolores?
My typical lunchbox included a peanut butter jelly sandwich on, I guess it was wheat bread, and an orange.
Every single day.
Every single day, yes.
That's pretty easy because your mother never had to worry about what you had to buy from the store.
Pretty much. And the oranges she would buy sometimes if oranges were out of season in our backyard. But sometimes we got some off the tree. Other than that, they still came from the store.
So that would be every day for 8 years.
Pretty much, except if you remember Taco Bell and was it McDonald's? Yes.
Yeah, it was a hamburger, wasn't it?
We got the hamburger was 29 cents, and if it was a cheeseburger, it was 39 cents. And we also had, when Taco Bell came, they were 29-cent bean burritos.
So the moms used to go pick it up from Taco Bell. They do a big run and bring it back to school, and we'd line up to get cold Taco Bell and cold McDonald's.
No, they actually had people come to the school and dole it out that way. It wasn't.
I remember.
It wasn't our parents.
Oh, you guys were so progressive there on the West Coast.
Well, it was the 70s too, Phil. So.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Dolores had the best thing in her lunchbox. She had the Tupperware. You couldn't buy it. You could only win it at a Tupperware party, and it was this orange peeler, right? And I'm sure your mother would have killed you if you lost it, but she had it every day, yes. Right? And she peeled her oranges. I looked on eBay yesterday.
Yeah.
You can buy one for $84.
$84? Oh, good Lord. That's crazy. But you know what? I'm kind of thinking, well, if I use this and buy that, I can buy that. I could afford that, but is it worth it? I'm struggling.
I don't think so. Now I'm trying to think who had strange lunches at school and who had the coolest lunch boxes. I can remember seeing a Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox. I'm trying to think who had that.
I don't remember, and I also don't remember. Was it I was the one that had the Hardy Boys Nancy Drew mysteries?
Yes, and I was so jealous.
Oh, well, you know what I used that for in later years? Thanks to the that school upbringing, I turned it into a place to hide booze. So I'd skim off the bar and hide it in there, and it was in my room. And my mom would say, "Why is that in here?" "Oh, it's nostalgia, it's decoration." But it had booze in there. Yes.
This is when you were in the 8th grade, or?
Yeah, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th, 11th.
Dolores also, she was lucky because she was our, did they call it a milk monitor? She was our milk person.
Yes, it was a milk monitor.
So we would have to put in orders for milk and then in summer popsicles. And much like the lady that used to run numbers, Dolores sort of, she had it set up.
Was she doing numbers also?
Well, I don't know numbers, but I know a few of us that were in a good books got a few freebies thrown.
But that's like being a hall monitor. Everybody hated you. Did they hate you?
No, actually, because if you were nice to me, I might hook you up with some milk or an ice cream. And if you were mean to me, you were probably paying for our ice cream.
So now you're a teacher, right? So what are the kids doing now? Are they still have anything like that?
Today, well, with COVID-19, actually they just changed the rules here in our school district that anybody, regardless of whether or not they were receiving free and reduced lunch, could get a free lunch and breakfast at the schools through December 31st.
Yeah, but they don't have any. I was trying to get to. They don't have any like lunch monitors like you used to do, or the popsicle girl.
No, they have people that work in the like the lunch lady. There's a bunch of lunch ladies, but it's privatized now.
Yeah, and they're crabby, I bet, right?
Actually, not really. They're actually pretty nice.
Yeah, because you're probably similar age to the lunch ladies, but I'm sure the kids think they're crabby.
They're a little bit older than I am, so
okay.
I'm okay. Yeah.
Well, you're just trying to be nice and say that they're not crabby, I guess. Anyway, so we'll move on from that before I get in trouble.
Because I'm going to get you because we're the same age.
Thank you.
Did they still have vending machines
at school because of changes in food guidelines? They're healthy food vending machines, which is a far cry from what we had in high school.
That's when I discovered like getting a Hostess chocolate pie every day.
Yeah. So no more Coke in the vending machines. So now you got La Croix.
Right. You have La Croix. You have Honey Nut bunches of oats, snack bars, Pop-Tarts somehow made it in there.
It's enriched.
It's enriched.
Baked chips.
Baked chips. What's the
we used to
point?
call that. That's like we used to call that shoe leather.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh.
But it's healthy.
And the kids really eat a lot of that stuff, I bet, right?
No, they walk down the street to 7-Eleven and buy the Coke and the candy bars.
Now, we had a chat. We were having some reminiscing the other day, and we're talking about what your standard high school lunch was via the vending machine. What was that in front of the drama department?
Oh, well, my standard lunch in high school was a Snickers bar, a Jolt Cola, which was an early rendition of Monster drinks, lots of caffeine, and a cigarette out in front of the theater during lunch. That was lunch.
See, that's what happened for all those years of being made to have that peanut butter and jelly. You had to branch out completely.
Yeah, now you know why they got healthy food in the vending machines. Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Now, we were looking at, I was talking about Chrissy Schleier and her Fluffernutter, and we were looking at, there is a PB&J 2.0 sandwich. Now, someone's dad has come up with this, obviously, because it sounds like something my dad would have done. And
so you put bacon in it?
No.
Oh, bacon would be really good in a PB&J sandwich.
No, No, you put, just 1 second.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I just like putting things into other things. So before we were talking about putting Tang into making your baked beans at home.
Tang?
Because people, Tang, yeah, I think it would go good. Well, I think the peanut butter and bacon goes really well.
Yeah, I still can't get over that.
Peanut butter
so
goes
now,
best with jelly, not chocolate, not Tang.
No, but bacon.
I have a friend here who eats peanut butter and cheese, but we will keep that for another day.
Yes.
Okay, so on one side of the bread, imagine going horizontally. You have got jelly,
Okay.
then you've got honey, and then you've got marshmallow fluff, right? And on the other side of the bread, it is
It's going vertically.
Vertically, yes. So crunchy peanut butter, Nutella, and creamy peanut butter. So when you put it together, you get 9 different bites.
I would be down with that except for the Nutella.
Yeah.
I might have to try that when I go home. I don't know if you remember when I used to stay at my dad's house. Do you remember the man sandwiches he used to send to school with me?
No, please.
It was. Please remind you.
Yes.
It was. I'm surprised you were still my friend. It was a whole. It wasn't cut, so it was a piece of bread, and then he had mustard and mayo. Then we had liverwurst, and then we had sliced red onion, and then we had lettuce on it, and it was about as big as my head.
Was I sick that day? I don't remember that.
I'm sure I tried to get someone else wanted to swap that sandwich for something, and the liverwurst was sliced about an inch thick.
So I just want to go back to the Nutella. Why don't you like Nutella? I have my own reasons why I don't like Nutella, because I think it's nothing but, a little bit of hazelnut in it. It's like less than like 17% or something like that. Cocoa and Crisco.
Yeah, it's too oily for me. It just tasted manufactured and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Awful. Okay. Still like the peanut butter and chocolate thing. Maybe it's the hazelnut that throws me. You in your classroom, you seem to have a bottom drawer full of stuff for if people leave for school before having breakfast or a bit caught out. What do you have in your bottom drawer?
Right now I just have some Nature Valley's honey, those bars. The granola bars. I have those. As soon as it starts getting colder, I've got hot chocolate. So we can have a cup of hot chocolate.
Oh, I want to be in your classroom. Are you afraid people might know that you have a heart now?
Yeah, that's supposed to be kept under wraps. It's like Fight Club. We don't talk about it. You just take my hospitality, say thank you, and move about your day.
I think some of my shop teachers were dealing in their bottom drawer. Yeah. And all these kids wanted to come into the classroom. What are you doing in here? Oh, I just got to talk to Mr. Joseph. Yeah, for what? Like, oh, no, nothing. Then they're like little hands under the table.
We've heard those stories before. That's well before I started teaching, but I've heard similar things. So yeah.
We had a brother at school. I can't think of his name, brother someone. And this one kid had a pack of cigarettes in his pocket. You can see the outline. And he just came up to him and smashed it, put his hand against it, and then he grabbed it, and then he twisted it, and just went about his day.
I don't know what they would do now, because how much are cigarettes here? Like $25 a pack?
It's like $40 a pack.
40. That'll be like manslaughter on
That's right, Dolores. You'd have to go in with all of your friends to go in for a pack of smokes to have lunch now.
That is ridiculous. I'm so glad I quit.
We did waste a few dollars on a few things, yes. But I'm glad that you shared the takeaway thing. I'm going to check my kids' room for lunchboxes now.
But you know what? The funny thing is that lunchboxes were cool until you were in about 3rd grade, and then it was all about the little paper bag.
That's right.
I was ahead of the time because we didn't have lunchboxes. Well, we had lunchboxes, but only for the privileged kids who had money. We just had paper bags. So there I was ahead.
Wait.
That was cool at the end of 2nd grade.
Mom used to put little flowers on my lunch bags.
She would write notes too, wouldn't she?
She did. I used to have a little note with my hors d'oeuvres when she rolled up my ham for me. I'm sure you gave me a bad time about that. Thank you very much for not, so far we've made it this far without you making fun of me, and I love you very much for that.
Speaking of notes, just one little funny thing just came to my head. I never got any notes on my lunch bag, but I remember my friend John and Charlie, they're twins, and their mother used to leave them the coolest notes, like, clean the shit out of your room. Like, my mother would never even put that in writing or even say it, you know?
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today, and I miss you. I'm very lucky Dolores comes over and visits me, and our children just freak out about how much we talk for hours without stopping. Thank you very much, Dolores.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, thanks, Dolores from Nevada.
As we now know.
As we now know.
Now, talking about school lunches, as we are, now there's some snacks that people would have, like, we weren't that wealthy, so I didn't get ding dongs and that often. But in store right at the moment, we do have some Hostess snacks. We've got ding dongs and Twinkies and peanut butter ho-hos, zingers, fruit pies, donuts.
And goober.
And goober. So you can get goober grape or goober strawberry. So you can have the peanut butter and jelly in both flavors.
And you'll get a special discount if you use the secret code,
which will be coming up next.
And today's secret code, you're all waiting for this, is lunch. So last week's secret code, everybody that used it got a 20% discount off of Mitch Meat products. So don't know what this week is going to be. It's a secret. So the secret code, again, is lunch.
Now, we're also, if you come into our store, so in Moorabbin, we're located 67 to 73 Cochrane's Road. Of course, usafoods.com.au. You can order online 24/7. Our shop hours at the moment, with lockdown still happening, are Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5. We hope to be increasing those as we get to see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
Now, for listeners' emails, do we have any today?
Oh, we had a great one. Now, this lady, I am going to be controversial here. She has an American dad, an Australian mom, and her name is Megan, I would say it. But since she had an Australian mom, it might be Megan. I'm not sure how she's pronouncing it, but I'm going to say Megan Cusack. And she grew up in Lemoore, California, and she's ended up coming back to Australia. She married an Australian, so she's here, and she's one of our customers. Now, her mother used to do something fantastic. She sent a note. We had the same lunchbox in school. She also had the Holly Hobby lunchbox. Now, her mother would get hot soup and put it in the thermos and then stick a hot dog in it.
Isn't that amazing?
That
is amazing.
And then she would stick a hot dog bun in the lunch. And so by the time lunch came around, she just pulled the hot dog out, put it into the bun. So she had a steaming hot dog and some smoky soup, I'm going to guess, after that.
Well, I think I'm going to try my hot dog and my cream and mushroom soup.
Well, that might be good. And she does Thanksgiving. So I said, just let us know what you're doing, too. She's going to be ordering some Thanksgiving goodies from us. And she's about my generation, too. So we might have some California memories together. And we also have this very persistent person. I have had every week I've got an email from her. Her name is Leslie, and she's from California. And she had feedback this week. Mitch was good. She likes barbecue that's sweet with some tang and light heat, so I think Womp would suit her.
So is that tang like in Tangy or tang like in the astronaut's drink?
No, it would definitely not be that. I think
that will be a good thing. I'm going to try that. There we go.
When she gets canned baked beans, she adds dry mustard for tang. You could add tang. Brown sugar for sweetness, and a bit of bacon for a smoky flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So
everything's good.
Yeah, that's right. We have to try that. So if anyone else has some ideas or some tips or some feedback, please give us an email at podcast@usafoods.com.au and we will take a look.
Now we're going to go to our favorite part of the show, and that is Nat Nosh. Now, you all know what Nosh is? Nosh is a Yiddish term for picking on eating. You know, like you pick some food out, just a bite, a nosh, something that's not too heavy, but that's what nosh is. Well, it's our National Nosh episode.
Well, today's is National Frappe Day.
Frappe. So frappe like an ice cream frappe?
I think maybe, or a coffee frappe now. So you can get things have changed. I like a good frappe.
Like Elsie down at the candy store, she used to make the frappe, and it was basically a sundae. And we thought that this was pretty exciting having a frappe. What is that, French or something? You know?
And you just freeze your brain with them.
Yeah. So when she wasn't taking numbers, she was making frappes.
She had to have a side gig. I do like that. And so tomorrow is, as we said earlier, National Fluffernutter Day.
Mm-hmm. And then on Friday,
yes,
Moldy Cheese Day.
Oh, that's my favorite cheese. If it's stinking moldy, give it to me.
Yeah, nothing like a good blue cheese or a Leicester. You know, the English. They might make some pretty awful food sometimes, but their cheeses are outstanding. They're probably the best cheeses that come out of the UK.
My grandfather used to love it because he got come over here soaking and cut up a hunk of blue cheese.
Yeah, you get a farmhouse Stilton that could, so sharp it could cut your teeth.
And it's also National Submarine Hoagie Hero Grinder Day.
So everything, even though they call it different, but they are different in ways.
Mm-hmm.
Again, growing up in the New York area, we never had a sub. There wasn't Subway and stuff at that time. We had Heroes, and Heroes were basically meatball sandwiches, Italian. It's all based on the Italian stuff.
Within the long bun? Is that the one thing that probably goes through the three?
Yeah, through all of them.
And yeah, actually, they have separate days. So the 5th of May is Hoagie Day. The 4th of November is Submarine Sandwich Day. And then they decided there's a National Eat a Hoagie Day on September 14th. Yeah. And a Submarine Hoagie Grinder Day on October 9th.
Doesn't Grinder have their own website?
I think that's the wrong Grinder.
Oh, wrong. Oh, okay.
We'll talk later after the show. I'll explain.
All right. I'm just confused there.
Saturday is the complete opposite of that. It's Angel Food Cake Day. That is one of my favorite cakes. It's all egg whites and love. That used to be my favorite birthday cake.
And it is sticky, even though it's...
It is, but sometimes you can put an icing over it, but I like berries on it.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, October 11th.
Hey, National Sausage Pizza Day.
There's nothing like a good sausage pizza.
Yeah, you got to... But see, I like the Italian sausage. Like when you go to the store, you buy Italian sausages, and you got to insist on having it with the fennel because that's just the true way to...
That's exactly right. So when I go home, that is going back to a few weeks ago, that's one of the first things I get is a sausage pizza because there's nothing that tastes like it.
Yeah, and that extra grease on it just goes right down your arm.
That's a sign of a good one. If you get messy, if you ruin your clothes, it's been a good experience. Yeah. And we have Dulce de Leche Day worldwide, which I make a killer brownie with that in it. It's so good.
Even just out of the jar, if you get some good Dulce Leche. Am I saying that right?
Dulce de Leche.
Dulce de
Leche.
I'm wrong. Yeah. Well, whatever. But anyway, it's like it's like a caramel, right?
Yeah, it is. It's like a baked,
and it's really, really good. And once you start eating it out of jar, it's like something that you can't.
Well, what's Monday is National Gumbo Day.
Oh by gumbo.
So you've been to New Orleans.
And did I have any gumbo there? I must have had gumbo there. I had so much. There's just so much great fruit in that city. Hopefully, they all get back to it.
What is gumbo for some of us that might not know?
It's a fish stew,
and it has the trilogy in it too, which is green bell pepper, onion, and what else? Carrot. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Please correct us. Now, I want to know how we got National Yorkshire Pudding Day, because that seems like, didn't we run away from the British?
Yeah, I guess so, but we still got the dogs around, the Yorkshire Terriers, right?
But that's good with a roast beef and hot mustard.
Yeah, there used to be a big English place that made Yorkshire pudding that closed up, and it was something else, and now it's up for sale again. It was some big fish and chip company out of England.
Oh.
And I passed it the other day, and after that it was a Chinese buffet. Now it's gone.
Maybe it's time for a Mexican restaurant to move in. Oh, so we should talk about next week's show while we're here. We've got a theme of featured food. So candy, soft drinks, What else? Things in movies that you see placed. We get lots of phone calls and emails. But do you have that product? I saw it in Seinfeld.
Yeah, we always know what's on TV and when everybody wants something all at one time, or if there's a cooking show, even a local cooking show, we know that when they're making tortillas, because everybody's asking us, which is pretty hard for us to come by sometimes, is tortilla presses. We got plenty of mesa, so all the people already have the tortilla presses. You know, they got the mesa.
Well, yeah. So when MasterChef's on,
Yeah.
they
And they feature something that it has an American recipe like graham crackers or something like that. You know, people come out of the woodwork. Where is it?
That's exactly right. And also, you had a history with, which we'll talk more about. So things like Junior Mints and Jujubes and Snapple, which we can all talk about a little next week. Also, you guys, if you are enjoying today, I hope you are, please subscribe, and you don't even have to think about it. Next week, the podcast will just pop up for you. So you can subscribe to us through Apple, Stitcher, or Spotify.
And that's going to be the end of this one. So I'm going to say goodbye all. But before I do that, I want to say again, thanks to our producer sitting over there, Brendan, and Fizz Farm, like in fizzy drink. So Fizz Farm. So he's at fizzfarm.com.au. You can get a hold of him or through us on our podcast.
And he does those special things like throwing us dirty looks so we shut up when we should, and making specific, if you notice, the logos each week have a different color to them, and they kind of reflect what was in the show. So last week we had the Meat Mitch colors. Now, every time I say Meat Mitch, I'm going to have to double think it because of you, Phil.
Now we're going to, and next week, maybe we'll do like this Seinfeld colors, you know. So, and the other hard thing we have to do is stop him from laughing while we're doing the show.
That's right.
He doesn't know what's going to come out of our mouths.
So hopefully you give us a listen next week. We have enjoyed this. So now's the time to say later, dudes, or goodbye, y'all.
I'm out of here.
Once you find a love like mine, you know that love is true. Understand, I'm just a man with a pork fat baby back balloon.